Welcome in, hockey fans. It's time for the Coaches Show. And I'll tell you what, we got Coach Norton today from the Tufts Jumbos. And this guy's personality is larger than life, Jumbo. This guy's team, we were just talking about it before we recorded, is larger than life, Jumbo, in terms of the personality and the ability. Communication is not lacking on the ice for this tough side, a team that will have a tough battle with the Milwaukee School of Engineering on January 3rd. Coach Norton, we invite you in. How are we doing this morning?
I'm great, Dan. Thanks to you and Lucas for having us on the show. And as Tyler said earlier, I think it's a great thing that you guys are doing for college hockey, but it's also an exciting event, sort of pre-event around this tournament that I think has a chance to be a really special Division III tournament, not just this year, but moving forward. So really excited about it, and appreciate you having us.
Yeah, and Coach, I think the biggest thing I talked with Graham Johnson about on his coaches show last week with the Milwaukee School of Engineering was just the importance in people taking a chance at something new in this game. People kind of running through that wall and taking a trip from the Northeast down to Tampa, Florida in January. That's a lift, right? That's a lot of work. It's a lot of logistics. It's figuring
Expensive.
it's expensive as well, right? So,
Yeah.
Coach, I mean, what makes you take this chance? What makes you take this leap? And how excited are you to get it done?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. I think first and foremost, we had an opportunity a few years ago to go out to Richie McKenna is a good friend of mine, head coach of Wisconsin Superior, and he invited us out to his tournament in during the holidays. I believe it was around New Year's as well, or in that ballpark. And we flew out and flew into Minneapolis and went up to Superior and had a 3 or 4 day trip out there. And the experience that our guys had, how much fun. I mean, it's Superior, Wisconsin, so it's not exactly a tropical paradise in January, but it was still a fantastic experience for our guys and something that they remember. They'll remember their whole lives. And we ended up winning the consolation game. We played a tough game against Superior, and so that was I felt like getting on a plane and having a little longer road trip. I thought was a great experience for every team, and everyone at our level, I think, should have that trip at least once. And I had this idea for a few years, and talked with Graham about it, and Ice Time, Ty and Melissa, as well as Toby O'Brien, and it's kind of formed, and
Yeah.
this will be the inaugural year. Um, but I think getting out on a plane and traveling and getting the guys together for something like this is really a unique experience, and something that they're going to take with them, and reminds them of what it's like to be, if you want to be a top level program. These are the kinds of things that you want to do as a team, and get out and play new programs and get out and travel and get on flights every once in a while. And then secondarily, we talked about Max Resnick, and Spencer Rose is also on our team, but we've had plenty of players from Florida. One of our previous captains was from Tampa. We've had guys from the Fort Lauderdale area. Florida is a rapidly improving hockey area, rapidly growing hockey area even now. And so many great players have come out of that league that are now playing, or out of that state that are now playing in the NHL, playing Division I college hockey, playing Division III college hockey, playing juniors. So many kids down there don't really know what Division III hockey is. They don't understand how good it really is, and how strong it is, and how competitive the players are. And I think an opportunity to go down and showcase that, and to put our product out in front of potential kids and recruits, I think can have a major impact, not just maybe immediately, but moving forward down the line, the next 2, 3, 4 years, as those kids go through the process themselves. So that part was huge. And then I think lastly, we have alumni that are down there, and you don't get many opportunities and trips to be able to meet with those folks that are in those states that are, maybe it's a little tougher for them to see us play. So it's a great chance for us to connect with those people that are down there, and those alums that are down there as well. So that's the reason why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And again, I wish I could, play a little golf while I'm down there, but I don't suspect that I'll be bringing the sticks.
Well, that's the question, Coach. I guess, how do you balance on a trip like this, right? You get the guys on a plane, you're getting them down there. It's right around New Year's. how do you balance the kind of work life down here? How do you keep guys? Look, it's your first game in a month when you guys hit the ice. How do you balance stay to it, stay to the task at hand, but also take a look around? There's some palm trees and some beaches.
Yeah, that's a great question. We're going to learn. We're going to find a little bit out. I think what I would tell you is my general belief of my guys and our program. I think Tyler would echo this. I try to treat the guys like adults.
Yeah.
I try to give the guys. I don't think we don't try to micromanage. We try to organize them, get them a schedule, let them know where they have to be when. But we try not to micromanage every single thing they do. They have enough that's on their plate with the academic piece that they have, and trying to work through their own time management with that stuff. So, we'll navigate that. But I would also tell you that my guys have demonstrated that they're capable of being responsible and doing the right things and playing the right way and being prepared for games without us, down their throats, regimenting what they needed to do at every single moment. So I have confidence in my captains, my leadership, and the group of guys that we have, that will be able to be prepared and ready, while also still recognizing, hey, it's going to be fun. It's going to be nice to be outside, and it's going to be nice to be able to walk around and see a few palm trees. So
Now,
that's what.
Lucas, I don't know if you've been, Lucas, on any of these NESCAC campuses, but I used to go and back into my career, I played at a couple of NESCAC schools there. I always felt like Ben Affleck, not Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting, but more the Ben Affleck, another rung down from not belonging, which is how beautiful it is, how smart everyone is, how well educated everyone is, how just it is some of the most beautiful campus life on the planet when you go to the places of Tufts and Wesleyan and Trinity and all these schools out there. Coach, can you kind of let folks in on the NESCAC lore, on the conference as a whole, why you should want to play there as a player, why you should want to be kind of rubbing elbows with the institutions that play within the NESCAC?
Yeah, I think you said it right there. I think all of the schools and all of the programs, the campuses, the the academic opportunities, but I would say more importantly, it's not just the academics. It's the name recognition. It's the it's the it's the blank number of alumni, both hockey and athletic, and within the Tufts or NESCAC community. That's what you're really that's really what you're getting. I went to University of New Hampshire, and I love UNH, and I would never change my experience. It never changed my experience and what I got from that program and there. But in my time here at Tufts, the opportunities that our guys have from a career standpoint, post hockey standpoint, networking, and we're continuing to try and grow that every single year. And I think we're getting better at it. We've had more hockey guys helping our other hockey or our graduating hockey guys get jobs and make connections, and I think that's a major part of it. So to me, the difference is really it's really when you're looking for that next step, when you're looking for that career. Yep, the academics is great. Yep, the academics is rigorous, but you're applying for a job and you have Tufts degree at the top of your resume. It speaks volumes, because a lot of people know this is a challenging school, and your connections are not just within the Tufts community. It's within the NESCAC community. It's within the Ivy. It's within the athletic. And you just watch how these guys are able to navigate that. To me, I think that's really the special difference that this league has, on top of being, fantastic hockey.
Yeah, and for folks at home right now with a young athlete who is trying to find their next college destination, I'll tell you right now, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen the NESCAC name help get folks over the top when it comes to a resume sitting on a table with 1,000 other resumes, right? It's an important place to not just play the game, but an important place to be, because important people have been there. And I think that's an exciting thing. Lucas, as the academic guy, I'm sure you could probably ask Coach a little bit about the academic programs that kids might have access to there at Tufts.
Yeah, and I can certainly say and add another voice to say how absolutely gorgeous these NESCAC campuses are. I have been to a couple of them on visits with when I was a academic tutor, going on some visits with a couple of students I was tutoring, and just absolutely blown away by how amazing the campus life is. But I mean, Coach, when you talk about recruiting, the Northeast is it's a lot for recruiting. Yes, there's a lot of players. You know this as someone who has played in the Northeast, who has lived in the Northeast. What is the recruiting like up in this region of the country, and what kind of players are you looking for specifically for your program?
Yeah, one thing I would add about our campus too, just as we're talking about it, I think a lot of people that have never been to Tufts, they think it's a city school or an urban school, and it certainly is in a city and an urban area. But you could pick up our campus and plop it anywhere. It's got beautiful green areas, beautiful open spaces, and it's just a fantastic spot. And a lot of people who have never seen it, who come on campus for the first time, are really blown away by it. So I think that's a huge element too. What I would say about the recruiting area, it's a battle. It is really a battle. It's a battle on a couple fronts. Number one, there are so few places to play NCAA college hockey, and there's so many kids that want to play that the pyramid or the funnel gets narrow really quickly. And a lot of us are all competing for, relatively speaking, the same players. So you're trying to navigate, you're trying to navigate the your needs and what you're looking to try and fill. The kids are trying to figure out where they can fit in. Academics is a massive piece of the puzzle for us as well. And you're trying to blend all of those things. We're also looking at 3 years, and in some cases even '07. So you're looking at '04s, '05s, '06s, and '07s, and only one of those years has to go to college. So you're trying to figure out who you can bring on to your program that's maybe in '06 or '07 that you think can either step in and play right away, or maybe can develop into an impact player, or develop into somebody that you think can help out your program. And at the same time, you're trying to pick the right guys and the right kids for your culture, and the right kids for your university, and the guys that you need to sort of fill holes. So it's very difficult. You look at Coach Bryant and I's board for recruiting, and it starts out with a lot of names, and then the pieces move, and the puzzles move, and the puzzle pieces move, and it changes. And the group that we have probably on the board in August is not going to be the group that we end up with. So it's a lot of that. For us, we really want to find hockey players. We're trying to find guys that want to play hockey. For where we are, and for the program that we're trying to build here, we got to find guys that, yep, they're great students.
Yeah.
They take the academic piece of it seriously. They want to have success in the future, but at heart, they're hockey players. If you look at just the top three guys that are, a junior and two seniors, in terms of Bazianos, Tyler, and Rez, those three guys are absolutely really good students. They're absolutely focused on their academics. They're clearly focused on what they want to do in the future. I think all three of them will have an opportunity to play at some level, whether in the U.S. or Europe, if they want to do that. When they graduate, that'll be a decision they will have to look into. But they're all focused academically. But at the end of the day, all three of those guys are hockey players. There's not a guy that doesn't want to get out, rip pucks, get out on the ice, compete, play hard, get points. So we're trying to find hockey players first and foremost, and then I think the next part of that, we're trying to find guys that have really good hockey IQs, that are smart hockey players, that are heady. I think that's a massive part of what we've developed and what we've brought in. I think our guys are really clever, smart hockey players. I think you see that up and down through our lineup. And then the final piece is we got to have guys that compete. We play in our building. There's no sugarcoating it. Our building it's a tough barn, but at the same token, we need to make it a tough barn for everybody who comes in and plays there. And we got to have guys that want to compete, that want to block shots, that want to play tough, that are willing to pay a price and grind it out. So I think we've done a really good job of getting those kind of kids into our program.
Now, when you say you're looking at hockey players, someone might say, well, yes, it's a hockey team. But for those who are listening, Coach, I think what you're getting at is you need guys who are dedicated. You want guys who are committed to it, because being a student, being a high level college student is hard enough as it is, right? And then to be a high level competitive hockey player on top of that, those are two full-time jobs.
Absolutely. It's a grind.
Yeah. So you gotta have twice the commitment to really do this effectively, and to find those guys. That's where coaches like you come in, Coach Norton, is finding those guys and really being able to use your experience to kind of figure out whether a guy has that level of dedication.
Absolutely. And Tufts is not an easy school. These guys work, and these guys, you look at their majors, you look at the class workload that they're taking. It's there. There's a lot of study time and a lot of effort that's put into getting their degree. And our guys do great. I think last year we had a 3.6 team GPA. So our guys really work hard at it. But you also want to have guys that are excited to be at the rink, that are excited to take the 15-minute ride that it is to get over to our facility, that kind of love that ability to spend some time with each other, whether it's in the car or whether it's in the van that we have that goes over there, and being able to hang out in the locker room and get on the ice and have a practice. You need those guys. You can get plenty of guys that are really good students, but you got to have the same passion for playing and wanting to be a hockey player.
Yeah. And Lucas, my favorite conversation Coach just had with you after your first question is the idea of, Tyler's going to have a tough decision to make between being a pro hockey player or moving on into a career, right? And I think that's what parents need to be listening to right now. It's what our young athletes need to be listening to right now, is when you put yourself at a great organization, at a great school like Tufts, you get to make those decisions at the end of your playing career in college. You get to sit there and go, I may have a great enough route as a professional outside of the game that I'll go that route. Or I might not want to hang them up yet, and I have that opportunity because I have a great coach like Coach Norton, who's developed me as a player and who has put me in this position to make one of the toughest decisions we can all make, right? Which is whether or not we keep playing. Coach, I got to say that's an incredible piece right there. Can you kind of talk to a player at home, I guess now, about how do they get recruited by Tufts? I mean, there's a lot of players out there. It's a brave new world of recruiting with what's going on at the Division I level. Talk to me about what should I be doing to put myself on the map to potentially get to a place like Tufts.
So I think first and foremost, take a look at our roster and look at where kids come from.
Yeah.
Look at where the bulk of our players come from. The large bulk of our players come from the North American Hockey League, NCDC, prep school, and then EHL, and then probably a sprinkling of places from other leagues. So knowing where guys come from and where we take most of our players from, that's a good starting point. If you're playing in those leagues, there's a pretty good chance we're gonna see you. So that would be the first point. The second point is, or the second part of it is, we try not to leave any stone unturned. So if we have a lead on somebody from a reliable connection or a reliable coach or a reliable advisor, that on a player that's playing in the USPHL, or a kid that's playing in Alberta, or a kid who's playing in BC or the CCHL or whatever it might be, we're gonna take a look at those guys. And in this day and age, with all the flow hockey and Instat and all the different tools you have, you can watch a kid once. We think it's really important to see kids play in person. These last 2 weeks, this last week, I think I've been to 6 or 7 games already. I'll probably be at another with the holiday tournaments coming up next week. I'll probably be at another 10 next weekend or next week. But we think it's important to see these kids play in person. But we also do a lot of work watching these guys on Flow Hockey, on Instat, and you learn a lot about them. So if you're playing in a league that we maybe don't have as a traditional place that we get to, because there's only 2 of us, we'll still try and watch you and still try and get an evaluation on you. So we really hit those 4 leagues pretty hard. but we don't intentionally avoid anybody else. Send emails. I would encourage kids to send emails. We may not always respond to every single email we get. We get a ton of emails, but we always put them on a list or connect them. So if you're playing for blank program, we're right now, as an example, we're going through all the prep schools. You may be playing for a particular prep school. We may not have responded. We may have, but we may not. But we have you on a list. So when we go to watch, a certain school play, we know the guys that have reached out to us. We know the guys that are interested, and we can continue to follow up with them if we like how they're playing.
Coach, I'm just excited to watch you guys take the ice in Tampa here in a few weeks. I mean,
So am I.
how important is that W for you in game one? How important are you already looking at tape for Milwaukee School of Engineering, or are you in recruit mode right now?
We're in recruit mode right now, and we're also we do a really good job. I really think it's important. I used to think I had to be the dictator and the end all be all of everything that happened. And as I've gone through Tufts, I've started to learn that you hire good people and you put them in positions to be successful, and you let them sort of do what they do really well and that they're passionate about, and you end up getting better results. And I'm fortunate that we have a couple of guys that are really outstanding at breaking down and getting into the nuances and the statistical pieces of how we're playing. So a lot of what we're doing right now, not only with the recruiting piece of it, but we've met once already, and we're meeting again on Monday to take a breakdown and look at where we were at the end of our first 9 games, and what we need to do when we get back to campus, and what are some things that we need to improve on and work on. And so I'd say it's almost a recap of what we've done. Not that we're not concerned about Milwaukee School of Engineering, but our belief is if we do things the way we want to do them, if we play the way we want to play, if we play the right way, we're going to be fine. We need to know the tendencies and the things that Milwaukee School of Engineering does. We'll pass those out to the guys. We'll review all that stuff. But it's more about what we're doing and about us and making sure that we're the best version of ourselves when we go into the weekend. But winning games, first game, it's big. I tell the guys all the time, it doesn't matter whether it's a midwinter tournament or the NESCACs. The more you can put yourself in must-win games, the more you can put yourself into winning tournaments and getting a title and adding a championship, the better it's going to be for you when you get into playoff time. And anytime you have a chance to put a title next to your name, I think it's a big thing.
It's going to be exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Has Dan Kay been stocking up on bags worth of peanuts from the local zoo here in Tampa just to make his pick Lee Corso style of Tufts against MSOE? You'll have to tune in and watch. You'll have to watch on Flow Hockey. You'll have to check out the games. We will have January 3rd, Tufts taking on the Milwaukee School of Engineering, Suffolk taking on Albertus Magnus College. Winners play for it all, for all the marbles on January 4th. It's going to be an incredible event. If you can make it down to Florida, please do. Come on out and listen in to the most watched show in hockey, the Dan K Show, and let us know who you're cheering for in the social chat right now. Reach out at the _Dan K Show, Instagram, Facebook, X, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're comfortable with. TikTok as well for now, as long as it exists. The Dan K Show is on your call. Go to dankshow.com to find out more about Coach Norton, his squad, and everyone else taking place in the Tampa College Hockey Invitational.
Going to the zoo for peanuts? You just go to the grocery store.
For the elephants, you throw them there. You put a quarter in the machine.
Yeah, but you got Publix right down the street. You don't have to go a quarter at a time. You could just buy a peanut.
I didn't know. I didn't have a peanut guy. Okay, no one told me where to find these things, so I went to the zoo. I went to the source.
Jumbo was a big African elephant. Jumbo was a big elephant.
He needs a lot of peanuts.
Jumbo was eating, but Jumbo's a big elephant. Jumbo was big beast.
Gonna need a lot of peanuts, man.